Welcome to the three-part series on success in the workplace, Part 2, Disability Disclosure. There are three main parts to disclosing your disability. You have to decide whether or not you are going to disclose, when to disclose, how to disclose, and the fourth part of this video will include tips on communicating your disability to employers. Whether to disclose. The Co-op Student Self-Guide offers great advice on different things to consider when disclosing, as well as when the best time to disclose is for you personally. Some of the things it covers is making sure to self-assess. How comfortable are you discussing this? Do you know how to explain it in simple terms? What happened the last time you were in a similar situation? The next step is to investigate. Make sure you clearly understand your rights and know what types of accommodations are available to you. Then, you should consider how your disability will impact your role as an employee, and with who, how, and when you're going to have this conversation. Then, you should plan and implement what you need to do to succeed, including what options you can discuss with your employer. And lastly, reflect on how the situation was handled. Did it go according to plan? What will you do next time you're in a similar situation? And what have you learned through this experience? Whether or not to disclose is a personal decision, not a requirement. It is recommended that you inform your employer in most cases. Some common concerns employees have when disclosing are being judged, getting negative reactions, and their disability impacting their career. 1 in 4 adults have a disability. You are not alone. Some benefits of disclosing are feeling comfortable in your workplace, an important part of any job, getting accommodations, which are often made for those without a disability, so asking for something is not a burden. Companies benefit from hiring people with different perspectives, and you set yourself up for a future success in that position. When to disclose. The first option is to disclose during the recruitment process, which is beneficial because it highlights you as a diverse candidate and helps break stereotypes. The next time to disclose could be prior to the interview. This would give you extra time to answer questions if needed, or alternate formatting for the interview, like a virtual face-to-face interview rather than by phone. This can also alleviate any awkwardness by clarifying ways to interact. You can choose to disclose during an interview, giving you the opportunity to focus on your capability of fulfilling the job requirements. It may also be the best time if certain accommodations need to be made for medical or personal reasons, like having flex hours. You could also choose to disclose before the start date, giving the employers time to establish options for accommodations and showing initiative and problem-solving skills on your behalf. And lastly, you can disclose after the start date, allowing you to handle your situation as you please. You can also disclose at any point during your employment, giving you the opportunity to prove your abilities before disclosing and demonstrating your commitment to the job. This also applies for temporary disabilities like a broken arm or a concussion. If you do not wish to disclose, your privacy is maintained, and as long as the job position is not impacted, you are fully within your rights. The document below highlights your rights and provides details on disclosing in the workplace. How to disclose. The first step to disclosing is to establish the reason for the conversation. It may be because part of your job would be impaired and you require assistive technology. Step 2 is to decide who you want to have the conversation with. Step 3, simplify your disability. Explain the advantages and limitations. And step 4, when explaining the situation, offer possible solutions, and with your employer, find one that best serves all parties involved. Deciding who to disclose to can be challenging. 39% of employers disclose their disabilities to their managers. 24% disclose to their team, and 21% disclose to HR. There are benefits of having multiple parties within the company know and understand your situation, but it's ultimately up to you to decide what's the best option for you. Tips on communication. Good work communication requires both talking and listening. Being upfront shows that you're aware of an issue and willing to improve. Be confident. The employer contacted you for the job for a reason. Learn from setbacks. Be friendly. You work most effectively with the support of coworkers on your team. It's important to know your rights. Employers are required to provide reasonable accommodation to a qualifying employee unless they can provide proof of significant difficulty or expense. Communication is key, so set up a meeting with your supervisor to discuss any concerns or accommodations. Remember to pleasantly request accommodations rather than demand. Provide any documentation or proof that an employer has the right to request. You know yourself better than anyone, and you know what you need to succeed. For individual comments, questions, or concerns, please contact Mitch Buick, Accommodation Consultant with Accessibility Services. Book a consultation and together discuss the co-op process and set a plan that addresses all of your concerns. That's all for Part 2 of Success in the Workplace, Disability Disclosure. Thank you for listening.